Hello there. Welcome to your program, Security Reports, where we'll get you informed, educated, enlightened, and most importantly updated on security issues anywhere it is happening. I remain yours and only, Ernest Enuneku.
And I still remain Shirley Daniels.
All right, on your program this week, we'll be bringing you a concern that a lot of people have been talking about recently, talking about the image of Nigeria outside Nigeria. A lot have been happening, from the FBI issue, the issue in South Africa, the issue in Ghana, just name it. A lot has been happening, surely.
Yes, Ernest, it's so sad that what Nigerians are going through right now outside the shores of the country. The news getting to us as in it's so bad. Like the image of Nigeria, Ernest, in fact, it has reduced to the barest minimum. I don't know why Nigerians has chosen to paint the name Nigeria, black, because for me it is black. It is not a good one at all. It is not a good one.
At this point, a lot of people are not happy to call themselves Nigerians, especially outside here, because the kind of treatment melted on innocent people just because of some few set of people who have decided not to be responsible, not to carry the flag of their country outside their country. It's not a good one. We went on the streets to talk to people on their view on the current issue concerning Nigerians, some Nigerian behavior outside the shores of this country. And a lot of them have said many things. Let's get to that interview now.
I believe in my country, and I know I can make it here. So I don't see any reason that might take me from here to another country for now. And if I must go outside this country, I think I should have a legitimate job to do before I could be able to travel. To me, those that travel out of this country, most of them, I know actually that they actually travel to do one or two things, to make a living out of it. And if you check our country very well, there's no job in this country. But that should not be an excuse. At least you can be a self-employed. You can do one or two things, and you can be an entrepreneur to do one or two things to survive in this country.
And the thing is, if you are to travel at all, if you don't have anything serious doing, there's no need traveling. And being in Nigeria, we have a lot of things to do. We can start from somewhere.
I'm not proud to be Nigerian, today, due to the fact that some youths go out there on a negative basis. The thing is that when they say Nigerians, it's not actually right to generalize everything, you understand? So they should actually just put the blame on those youths that are actually going on the negative aspects of getting money and other things.
I'm not proud in Nigeria. In 1 minute, because there's no job, as there's phone everywhere. Look at me, I got to buy jackknife with my pocket because of one chance. I can't take that chance again. No. Let them come back to Nigeria. Let's fight together.
Let them come back to Nigeria.
Let's fight it together.
Thank you very much.
I'm proud to be a Nigerian. It doesn't matter if FBI came to arrest 90% of Nigerians. All I know is in every group of people, we have the good people, we have the bad people. No nation is perfect. Even in the US, I'm sure we have a number of fraudsters. And well, I don't like the state of Nigeria right now, but I hope and with God all things are possible. Nigeria will become better. And I pray that every Nigerian will come up together and then work towards achieving the dream Nigeria we all desire. But it's a very sad one that some few Nigerians have decided to paint our image out there very bad. But trust me, there are still a lot of good Nigerians out there making us proud. Like recently we had in the United Kingdom, when Nigeria was made, given a political appointment. That is a good one. These are things you not hear about except the bad ones. But trust me, there are good Nigerians out there doing Nigeria proud.
When you travel out to outside the country, it's not, you have to obey the law there. And if you don't obey the law, you don't like you have to come back to Nigeria.
I have to be sincere with you. I would say I'm not proud to be in Nigeria as it stands today. Why? Because our government have failed. Most of us, it's not that we didn't see temptations all around to be involved in crime, but we choose to, go extra length to make ends meet. And as you believe in me, it's not easy. So it's not as if we should encourage those who are involved in crime, but our government needs to do a lot. Nigeria is a very rich country, and our government needs to put more effort. They need to be sincere with the masses. The masses have done their part, choosing a leader, and they should represent us well. All we have today, you see, when you try to go outside the country, Nigerians are subjected to a lot of harassment in the name of checking and trying to see maybe they come with drugs or contraband goods, and it's not supposed to be so. Actually, well, it's a pity. It's a pity that we are in the mess we are today. But I believe if the government do what they should do, the situation can be reversed. Government needs to take the blame. We shouldn't deceive ourselves. If Nigeria is good today, nobody will want to go outside. You can see what is happening in South Africa. As of yesterday, there is a video that emerges, killing Nigerians and burning their shops. Those are people doing legitimate job and businesses. Will you say they've involved in crime? Will you say they're involved in crime? And these are Africans, persecuting their fellow Africans. What do we call that? So Nigerians, our leaders need to stand up and actually do something, make this country better. We have the resources, we have the human capacity, everything is there. We are a blessed country. It's just that we are suffering as a result of bad leadership. So our leaders should take the blame 100%. There's no doubt about that. They say when you go to Rome, you behave like the Romans. When Nigeria goes abroad, they should endeavor to follow the laws of the country. I wouldn't say the kind of harassment Nigerians are facing today is not as a result of their own bad behavior. It's because they've gone against the laws of the land. And if they are doing legitimate business and work, they wouldn't need to be harassed, and they wouldn't go through what they are going through today. But like I said earlier, if Nigeria is good today, I wouldn't see a reason why people should leave. It's because the country is not good. People are trying to go outside to source to seek for greener pastures. You can see the way our doctors are going outside the country almost on a daily basis. It's because the remuneration and the packages are not good. They are not encouraging. So what do you want them to do? And those are people that have families and loved ones to cater for. But what do we get in return? Xenophobia, attacks here and there, and molestation. So the government should try and do something. It's just the fault of the government. That's just the truth.
Nigeria is a good country. We are blessed in every areas of country. We are very blessed and very intelligent to anything. So that's what I know about my country. So I can't deny my country. Even though I go to any other country, I can't deny my country. To say the fact, Nigeria, when you went to other country, you hear they are very bad. But we are not bad like that. We are not bad the way they say. It's just to terminate the name of Nigeria. That is why people are saying we are bad. We are not bad. We are a very good country. Imagine a country that we welcome any kind of country. And there's no thing that we say that why these people are coming. Anyone that came to this country is very, very welcome, and we will believe that anyone came to our country will be blessed. So we require that any one of us, any Nigerian person that went to another country must be blessed. Those that go to another country and change their own opinion, because they don't want to behave like other countries. The Bible, my people say that if you go to any person's house, you have to behave like that person so that you will be blessed. But when you disobey the law of the place, that any consequence you cause to yourself, it belongs to you, not of the country. It's you that cause it by yourself.
This is my country of birth, but as it is now, circumstances that are prevalent now will make one to begin to feel different. The economic situation, the insecurity, the things that are happening in the country now will make one to begin to feel that, okay, it would have been better to be from somewhere else. If the image of Nigeria now is not where it used to be. We can no longer boast to be the giant of Africa. That one is gone, long gone. We can no longer thumb our chest when we go out there, because anywhere they see you with the green passport, you are suspect. So it is no news. Everybody knows that we've lost it. Wherever they find themselves, they should fly the flag of Nigeria. They should represent us well. That is number one. Then they should be law-abiding, because whatever they do out there, it is what will create the image that the people will think what we are in here. So they should make sure they comply with whatever rules that operate in the country where they find themselves, and they should fly our flags high.
Yes, I'm proud to be a Nigerian, super proud. It's like a news I see recently. I'm not happy about it, though, how they maltreat Nigerians over there. And like, let's just say maybe Indians are here in Nigeria, people from South Africa are in Nigerians, and we start dealing with them or pursuing them from our own country. There are people there who like it. Like we here now, we are not happy about what they are doing to our own Nigerians in their country. So it's not a good thing. If any country Nigerians are traveling to, they should represent their country well, very well. No matter where you are, if you are proud of your country, you will involve yourself in fraud, drugs, any bad thing, anything you know that yes, this thing is not a good thing, your family, your country, anywhere you are, they will be proud of you. Believe that it's not something someone should be proud of, anything bad. So for those of them they are not tarnishing Nigeria, they are tarnishing their own image. Although yes, they are from Nigeria, but their names, their family. Those two things. Although yes, everyone will know that yes, they are Nigerians, they are from Nigeria, but you have tarnished your own name, your personality, and your family. So you can't just, although yes, they stand as Nigeria, yes, it's a country, but the stigma is on them, their own personality. Because when you involve yourself in shit like that, anywhere you go to, you'll be held. Anywhere. So they can't come and hold the whole Nigeria because of your own mistakes. Can't you come to the same market and say, everybody in this market are criminals? No, it's just the person that steal or do anything fraud or anything bad that they're held responsible. But not everybody in this market. You understand? I'm just laying an example. Blame our president, Mr. President, saying Nigerian youths are lazy. For instance, I'm a graduate. I'm serving now. I'm not working, but I'm in this market to learn one or two things, which is called entrepreneur. You can involve yourself, learn skills that will help you, even the little you have. You may luck meet everybody anywhere. Anybody can help you, male, female, old, young, they can help you. As far as they see the energy in you, that you are really to pursue what you want. Not because, okay, everybody loves money, even me, I love money. But I can't go and steal because I know it's a bad thing. And yes, so I can't involve myself. My advice to youth is that we should try and overcome laziness. We should try and overcome desperation. Those things are very, very, very bad. As in, you can't even learn anything. You know, some people are there, they are fast learners. Any small thing, it enters. Why some? Those ones that they don't want to try And what causes all this are those people behind them who laugh at them, who laugh at their failure, their downfall. You know, when you are being weak with such thing, you can't grow. You understand? You can't grow. So you have to push yourself, try, most especially when you have good friends around you. When you have good friends around you, they'll push you up. Like me, I have good friends around me. They talk to me, they advise me. So my advice to Nigeria is that we should wake up, we should try, we should work hard, try our best and clean our hands from bad things. Let's try and help ourselves because we are the leaders of tomorrow.
Of course, I'm proud to say I'm in Nigeria. Nigeria is a good country. It's a place you stay for comfortably. So I'm proud to say I'm in Nigeria. So many people travel to go and do so many things, you know, what they like, they do what they like there, they do what pleases them, forgetting that they are not in their country. If you go to a country, you know that place is not your country. There's a step you take, there's a step you should not take. Any Nigerian that is outside the country, he knows that he cannot afford outside the country. He should come back home. Home is good.
I am proud to be a Nigerian. I am proud of my mother's land and my father's land. The fact that Nigerians are being molested in US, in UK, doesn't make me less of a Nigerian. Doesn't mean I don't have value for myself. We should be contented with what we have. If we all leave, who will be next? A medical doctor is qualified, and the next thing that comes to his mind is to travel abroad. So what happens to his relative at home? Change begins with us. We should be one. We should hold our hands and build Nigeria together. Together we will get there. Together we will make it.
Welcome back from that street interview we did. Now you could see from the mouth of the people that in fact most Nigerians are not happy the way Nigerians outside the shores of Nigerians are painting the image of Nigeria. You can't leave your country. Even in your own country, you can't even be doing drugs. And most of the issues that these people are passing out, they are having outside the country is the issue of drugs. The system outside there is different from the system we have here. So you should try as much as you can to keep to the rules, to the laws of the country that you are.
Now, we must say clearly at this point, if you must travel out of your country to another country, now the laws in your country might not be the same with that country where you are residing as we speak. Now, you must carry the flag of Nigeria anywhere you go. Behaving in a way that will dent the image of Nigeria should not be done. Nigerians must ensure that they paint Nigeria in a good light outside the world. We know we have good Nigerians outside there. And
you know the thing is that before now, these other countries have seen Nigeria as the big brother. Now I don't know the examples we are showing as the big brother. At least you should put up something good for people to emulate.
Nigerians, please, for the sake of our country, for the sake of our unborn children, let's carry the flag of Nigeria with pride. Let's do things that will bring pride to our country and not bring shame to our country. Going on the program, you might be surprised where we are. We're actually at the headquarters of the Nigerian Army. Right behind us, ongoing, is the second and third Chief of Army Staff quarterly conference going on right now as we speak. And Nigerian Army, we must say kudos to them for a job well done. A lot have said many things, but I must tell you, when you look, especially the reign of the current Chief of Army Staff, talking about Lieutenant General Tuku Yusuf Buratai, he has been doing a lot to ensure Nigerians sleep with their two eyes closed. Now, don't we know there are issues in some areas, but they are actually fighting it? Chile.
Yes, like he pointed out, and he has also made sure that he used this opportunity also to charge the chief, in charge, the commanders, yes, actually, to make sure that they put these people in check. The reports get into that. They have here, like you said, few hiccups here and there, but the Nigerian Army have come out to say that they are not proud and they are not ready to take any form of indiscipline in the Nigerian Army, because that is not what the Nigerian Army stands for.
Now, with the case of the Taraba issue, the Chief of Army Staff actually said investigations have been concluded, and appropriate penalties will be melted on officers found guilty. Now, we must say also that you are wearing Nigerian Army uniform does not mean you now take laws into your hands.
Exactly.
Now, you are in a country, and the laws of that country must also guide you in all that you do. Now, let's bring you some highlights from this opening ceremony of the Chief of Army Staff 2nd and 3rd Quarterly Conference.
The Chief of Army Staff, sir, permit me to deliver the welcome address for this important conference. I am delighted to welcome the Chief of Army Staff and all participants to the Army Headquarters Command Mess 1, Abuja, for the Chief of Army Staff's combined 2nd and 3rd Quarter Conference 2019. Let me first thank the Almighty God for granting everyone journey mercies from their various destinations to Abuja and for making it possible for us to hold this conference. According to schedule of Nigerian Army Forecast of Events 2019, the 2nd Quarter Conference ought to have held between 25th to 28th June this year. However, it will not hold as scheduled due to operational exigencies and other important Army activities. It is obvious that so much has happened since we last met for the 1st Quarter Conference that was combined with the Combat Arms Training Week that held in Jaji between 23rd and 28th April this year. In retrospect, there have been widespread changes in the political landscape of our dear country and also in our operations. All these happenings have necessitated a meeting of this nature for us to review our operations with a view to fine-tuning our plans. The Chief of Army Staff has therefore graciously approved this conference to avail us all the opportunity to appraise our performance and challenges in counterterrorism and counterinsurgency, as well as other internal security operations with a view to charting the way forward. In line with the directive of the Chief of Army Staff, we have, in addition to commandants of Nigerian Army schools, invited commandants of core schools to glean from their wider audience and also tap from their experiences. I wish to reiterate that the Army Headquarters always look forward to invaluable contributions made by participants at fora like this. There is no doubt that the frank and productive contributions in the past have impacted positively on our thrust to do better in support of our democracy. Therefore, I am convinced that there will be no departure from this trend this time around. At this juncture, let me reiterate that the focus of this conference is to further appraise the performance and challenges of the Nigerian Army in counterterrorism and counterinsurgency operations with a view to surmounting them. The conference will also appraise our preparation in terms of the security aspect of the forthcoming elections in Bayelsa and Kogi states. Accordingly, we shall have the traditional intelligence brief by the Chief of Military Intelligence, Army, and brief by the Chief of Training and Operations, Army. We have equally introduced a panel discussion session on the challenge of prolonged deployment of units and personnel in the Northeast with a view to finding lasting solutions to the challenge. This and other activities as indicated on the program of events have been lined up to have a fruitful conference. I would therefore urge all participants to remain focused and take active part in the conference. Finally, gentlemen, this welcome address will not be complete without appreciating the Chief of Army Staff for authorizing the logistics for this conference. Thank you very much, sir, the Chief of Army Staff. Once more, I welcome you all to this combined second and third quarters conference 2019, and I wish all of us a very successful deliberations.
It is my delight to welcome you all to this unique Chief of Army Staff quarterly conference. It is unique in several ways because it is a combined quarterly conference that will appraise the second and third quarters activities and directives that were rolled out by Army headquarters to position the Nigerian Army further towards a professionally responsive Nigerian Army in the discharge of its constitutional roles. It is also unique in the sense that we are having commandants of Nigerian Army Corps schools in attendance at a quarterly conference for the first time after a very long time. More interestingly is the inclusion of an innovative panel discussion that will address some pressing issues in the Nigerian Army. I will therefore want you all to be open, frank, professional, and analytical in your contributions. As you are all aware, in the past 5 months, the Nigerian Army has been engaged in several activities which made it almost impossible to hold the quarterly conference as scheduled, thus necessitating its postponement to today. I must commend all officers and soldiers of the Nigerian Army for the commitment and resilience in the attainment of our collective vision, despite the challenges in the implementation of the training directives for the 2019 training cycle. A major challenge that has continually faced the Nigerian Army is the ever-growing issue of insecurity occasioned by myriads of global causative factors. These actions or factors could be traced to economic, social, and political factors affecting almost all parts of the world. In our bid to curtail some of the contemporary security challenges, such as banditry, kidnapping in the Northwest, we launched Operation Harbin Kunama 3 in the first quarter of 2019. The operation, which spanned through the second and the third quarters, has recorded successes in curbing the rampaging activities of bandits and kidnappers. However, despite the successes, there are cases in Sokoto, Katsina, Kebbi, and Kaduna states still occurring, unfortunately. To continue to support the civil authorities, the troops employed, and indeed the equipment deployed, have now been subsumed into Operation Mesa. We have also redefined the conduct of Operation Lafia Dole with a new scheme of maneuver using the super camp concept of operation. A total of 20 super camps have so far been established in the Northeast, and commanders are required to key into the already circulated laid-down standing operating procedures and the directives. The concept entails the concentration of formidable fighting forces in strongholds that have the capacity for swift mobility. This requires the forces to be proactive, dogged, and capable of taking bold offensives at all times to defeat the adversary by denying freedom of action within a strong response areas or response areas, as the case may be. To support the supercamp concept, we have inducted more manpower and equipment into the theater and have plans to, within the remaining days of the third quarter 2019, deploy more troops towards achieving the desired end state. More platforms are being inducted through our research and development efforts in the production of our own equipment in line with the directive of Mr. President for the armed forces to look inwards and source for key equipment locally. The effort is already yielding positive results. I am thus delighted to inform you that in collaboration with an indigenous company, Profos, we have commissioned and inducted about 7 of these newly manufactured MRAPs into the theater. Similarly, Nigerian Army Central Workshop has been reorganized and designated as the Command Engineering Depot. The outfit is presently test running 3 variants of infantry fighting vehicles in collaboration with the Defense Industry Corporation of Nigeria, with a view to launching them into the theater very soon. In the same vein, our research efforts into anti-IED equipment are advancing well. This, when completed, will drastically minimize the challenges of improvised explosive devices in our operations. This equipment, at the initiative of the Defense Industry Corporation in collaboration with the Command Engineering Depot. Gentlemen, it is important for an army to continually engage in training and retraining at all times. This informs the presence of the commandants of Nigerian Army Corps schools at this conference. You are to key into the new concepts of operations by evolving pragmatic training curricula that will be more practical than theoretical and tailored towards the new fighting philosophy. Resources provided for training must therefore be judiciously utilized in turning out personnel that can fight the war. Let me at this point commend the combat support and the combat service support arms for the hosting of their training weeks in Lagos and Gusau, respectively. During the period under review, I am impressed with the laudable efforts made leading to far-reaching recommendations which are perused and approved. It is my conviction that those recommendations, when implemented, will enable the combat support arms and the combat service support corps to operate in synergy to support and combat arms to achieve more successes in operations. I am also elated with the successful hosting of the Regimental Sergeant Majors Convention 2019 held at Headquarters 1 Division in Kaduna. We must ensure the proper training and utilization of the Regimental Sergeant Majors and other senior non-commissioned officers who are critical bridge between the officers and soldiers' cadres. In order to encourage those senior non-commissioned officers who have held the appointments of platoon commanders in the field and exhibited traits and attributes of junior leadership, I have directed that those who meet the necessary qualifications for the Executive Commission be recommended for commission. As we move into the fourth quarter 2019, the issue of maintenance of equipment in operations, especially vehicles and weapon platforms in Operation Lafia Dole, readily comes to mind in this decisive phase to root out and defeat the insurgents. Commanders must ensure they utilize their main repair groups effectively in all the super camps to keep vehicles operational, while those that require major repairs are to be backloaded to the Central Engineering Depot for complete overhaul. Related to our maintenance and training is the importance of equipping our forces with the necessary state-of-the-art and cutting-edge technology tools to perform optimally. Just last week, I commissioned the beautiful headquarters Nigerian Army Intelligence Corps Annex building, the Forensic Laboratory, and the Command and Control Center. The fight against terrorism and insurgency, as well as associated vices such as armed banditry, kidnapping, and gun running, requires timely dissemination of actionable intelligence. The Nigerian Army Intelligence Corps has therefore been adequately equipped with tools that meet world standards to perform its tasks. I want to see them deploy this force multiplier to effect a paradigm shift that will create a difference. Similarly, we have identified the importance of simulations, which necessitated the establishment of the Land Forces Simulation Center. The center is working assiduously to ensure it performs its assigned tasks effectively. During the period under review, we will continue to provide the needed logistic support for troops. More of such supports are on their way as items procured are equally being delivered. However, we must do more to address administrative and welfare issues of personnel, especially those in operations. The Army headquarters has therefore embarked on extensive infrastructural development of offices, training schools, and personnel accommodation. In the area of Nigerian Army projects and plans, Nigerian Army Farms and Ranches Limited is growing and will soon start making a variety of products that are readily required in our barracks. I will urge you all to be part of its success. I also recollect directing that formations and units were established their own mini-zoos and maintain mascots as part of unit regimentation. These initiatives are geared towards upholding military customs and traditions, as well as to preserve some of our rare animal species. I will go around soon to check the level of implementation. It is also in the spirit of promoting regimentation that the Nigerian Army prepared the Heroic Guards Brigade Nigerian Army contingent for the 2019 Royal Edinburgh Tattoo. Since the event, I have received congratulatory messages from far and near on the excellent performance of the contingent. This goes to prove that ours is an army that can really be what we choose to be. We must therefore continue to make deliberate efforts to enhance the level of regimentation and professionalism in the Nigerian Army. Distinguished colleagues, it is imperative that we become more proactive in ensuring the discipline and professionalism of our personnel in our dealings with other agencies of government and indeed the larger society. We should all note that the Nigerian Army, as part of the armed forces of Nigeria, is mandated to support the civil authorities and the Nigerian police force in internal security operations. However, recent occurrences have shown that there is need for more reorientation on civil-military relations and inter-service cooperation at the junior cadre levels. Unfortunately, incidents such as the recent one at Ibi in Taraba State, which generated intense media comments, are not healthy for the smooth cooperation and operation of our security forces. Investigations of the incident have been concluded, and decisive actions will be taken to ensure it never happens again. Similarly, the recent case of alleged rape of a lady by a soldier in 34 Artillery Brigade and the shooting of a motorcyclist by another soldier at Mokereke, Ungwa community of Abia State are examples of sad and unwarranted events which we must guard against. The Nigerian Army will not condone any form of indiscipline or actions that will tarnish its good image. I hereby charge commanders at all levels to continue to educate personnel on the need to adhere to the rules of engagement at all times, and also respect all extant laws and the fundamental human rights of citizens as enshrined in the Nigerian Constitution. Before I conclude, we all know that President Commander-in-Chief has recently appointed Major General Bashir Salihi Magashi, retired, as the new Honorable Minister of Defense. I have had the opportunity to brief him on the state of Nigerian Army and our operations. Also, his first official assignment has been to visit the Northeast and the headquarters Theater Command of Operation Lafia Dole to see things for himself. As you must have seen on the news, the Honorable Minister of Defense visited various troops locations in the theater and has interacted with both officers and soldiers deployed in the front lines. Therefore, on behalf of all of you, pledge our loyalty and cooperation to make the Nigerian Army and indeed the armed forces of Nigeria the best they can be. I can assure you that the Honorable Minister of Defense has very good and lofty plans, to transform the armed forces. I urge you to support him in this vision and plans. Finally, let me, with all sense of respect and appreciation, convey our gratitude to Mr. President, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, President Muhammadu Buhari, GCFR, for his support to the Nigerian Army. The President has continued to demonstrate his love for the military profession by rewarding hard work. The recent special promotion of 3 officers of the Nigerian Army, including our own beloved Chief of Policy and Plans, to higher ranks is an impetus for us to continue to be loyal and hardworking. I want to, on behalf of officers and soldiers of the Nigerian Army, sincerely thank Mr. President and pledge our total loyalty and our commitment to the defense of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. On this note, I have the honor and privilege to declare the second and third quarters 2019 COAS conference open. Thank you and God bless.
Welcome back from that highlights on the opening ceremony of the Chief of Army Staff second and third quarterly conference. Now, in the conference also, we did speak with a senator who represented the Nigerian Senate at the conference, where he told us what the Senate and indeed the National Assembly will be doing to ensure they support the Nigerian Army in fighting the ongoing insurgency and the banditry which they are facing, and some other operations they are having in other parts of the country. Surely.
Yes, actually, at this point, now all hands has to be on deck, to make sure that this country move forward. The image, in fact, at NS, I'm still going to bring it back to the image of Nigeria. They have to make sure that we all put hands together and work and make sure the image of Nigeria is being redeemed. So we want to say thank you to the National Assembly for trying as much as they can to make sure that they support the Nigerian Army.
Let's get you that interview now.
You see, it's even thoughtful of the Army to involve members of the National Assembly to be part of the Chief of Staff Conference, and because it will give us opportunity to know the challenges they are facing. He spoke seriously about super camps, he spoke about equipment, and when we are doing our preparations, we should know that for them to do a very good job to fight for this country, to keep this country, they need more equipment. And in terms of appropriation, we should be in a better position to assist the army do their job very well. And I can see that from the operations that he has mentioned, both in terms of in all over the country, that the Nigerian army is doing quite well, and we will be supportive of that. I'm very comfortable with the leadership, and you can see that each time they have challenges, they review their operations. The recently established Supercamps is a response to other ways of doing things, and the Chief of Army Staff has urged all his commanders to queue into the new operations. That is delightful, and we hope that they keep reintroducing some tactics that will be able to clear away all the bandits and other criminal elements in the society. Yeah, I think it's very important for us as a nation. We need to believe in the Nigerian army so that we can be very safe. If today you are made to believe that the Nigerian army is not a very strong army, you should not be sleeping. And I think for us to sleep, we need to support them. Now we are seeing results. Now why should we be supporting when we are seeing results? Thank you so much.
Welcome back from that interview. Now, it's very obvious the Nigerian service will be doing a lot to ensure they support the Nigerian army and indeed the defense, the military, to ensure peace and security in all parts of the country. Now, moving on the program, remember we are still here at the Army headquarters where we have ongoing as we speak the second and third quarterly conference of the Chief of Army Staff. Now, moving on the program also, we are going all the way to Anambra State.
Yes.
Some time ago during the program, we brought you an interview with the governor of Anambra State, talking about Chief Willie Obiano. We'll be concluding that meeting, that interview we had with him. It was exclusive for just Security Report. Let's get to the conclusive part of that interview now.
So, in general, both the Army, Police, Civil Defense, and the NDLEA are doing very well. We work like a team here, like brothers and sisters, under the command of the CP of the state. You know, and if you look at during the day, you probably will not see the Army, except in the major road checkpoints and where have you. But at night, they operate. You know, they do stop and search, they match our critical road areas, and this has brought safety to the state.
Yes, sir. Your success you have achieved in this state is not only for this state. The nation Nigeria also has the impact of what you're doing here. A lot of people have said a lot of security challenges in the country. What would you advocate as a way of solving this?
Well,
using the Anambra example, for instance.
Well, let me tell you, I'm a very modest guy. I don't blow my trumpet. But I think if you address security fundamentally, put your money where your mouth is, show that you mean business, you know, motivate the team that are working for you, help them in their infrastructure. I told you the things I bought from Boston, plenty of thousands of, billions of dollars we bought. You see it when I display it in 3 weeks' time. It's not, nobody in this state, in Nigeria has it. You know, again, that shows because this administration is very concerned about security. That's my #1 success. You know, that I am where I am in terms of people's rating is because of my achievement in security. Among others, I'm doing so many other things. But security is critical. Without security, this think-home philosophy I'm preaching will not work. The diaspora guys that are coming will not work, you know. But we've done well in agriculture, trade and commerce. You know, we have gas being produced now in Anambra State, you know, Guipele. You know, we are working well, sending some notes to DPR, you know, with a view to be prepared to become an oil-producing state, you know, and among other things. You know, we do well in education, you know, and, you know, we're doing very, very well. And the fulcrum for these successes lies on the security architecture.
Some are even saying that you're trying to have Anambra Airport here to be able to
Yes.
the moving of these commodities?
Yes, we would have had this airport long ago. But because we had approval long ago to do one, but because it was to be done, build, operate, manage and transfer, where we won't bring any money, and the investor, the Chinese partners, will do everything. You know, they were very willing until when the soil test was started about a year and 3 months ago. The drone was seized by the federal government for 1 year, exactly 1 year. They seized these drones of the Chinese company. With my intervention at very senior level, that drone was released, I believe, to the Air Force, and eventually the Chinese were able to complete their soil test, and they left. That delay of 1 year affected their financing and what have you. I have just 2 years plus to round up this administration, and I'm not going to wait for them any longer. We've taken basic decisions, and I'll leave the rest. They will see that by the grace of God, there will be an airport before I leave office. And we want, at this time around, I'm funding it myself. You know, the people have played around. I'll do this, I do this. Before you finish analysis, the financiers come in, all those stuff, they waste so much time. That time we don't have any longer.
The number will be happy for that, Your Excellency. Yes, sir, you were not selected, really. I must say, first of all, congratulations from our own side to be the 2019 award lecture speaker in Dubai. After assessing all the people from the last 1 year, you were selected because of the model that is in Anambra. We are not surprised with what is happening because you came, I think for us, you came with a mindset to change Anambra, which is very, very clear. What will you be telling the people outside this country, outside in the whole world, because the whole world will have you to listen to now about what Anambra is about?
Well, I will be telling them exactly what I've just told you in a broader spectrum. How to checkmate criminality in a third world country. You know, and by the time I develop these things I've told you, it will be a very powerful lecture that may find itself in the Harvard Library.
Welcome back from that exclusive interview we had with the governor of Anambra State, Chief Willie Obiano. The people of Anambra State, at least for me, I won't be surprised if Anambra State should have an airport now. At least that's apart from, you know, it's long well overdue, and for other states around Anambra have airports. I think Anambra should also try and have. So we are actually hoping and wishing that the governor carry out, come to pass. Now, moving forward, we had an interview too with the chief of
the head of the National Central Bureau, Interpol. Talking about CP Garba Baba Umar.
Thank you very much, Ernest. In that interview, he helped us to understand. That was on the conference that happened at the International Conference Center in Abuja too. He helped us to understand the work or what the Interpol is doing, the reason why they brought this the conference down to Nigeria, you know, just to make sure Africa is in safe hands. Let's bring you that interview.
And this week we celebrated Interpol Week for the first time in the history of Nigeria. This is now not new because the President Inspector General of Police, IGP Mohammed Adamu Abubakar, MPF MNI, has been a veteran of the Interpol. He was the first African Vice President, the #2 police officer in the world. And we choose this one for the first time to give members of the public and other law enforcement agencies the tools available from the Interpol that may guide them in doing and carrying out their activities or their job professionally. And that is why we chose this, so that we can inform them to exploit the tools that are available at the Interpol database. And that was why we chose this week to celebrate.
Welcome back from that interview. We are still here at the headquarters of the Nigerian Army, where you have the ongoing now, the Chief of Army Staff Quarterly Conference. Now, like we said earlier, the Nigerian Army have been doing a lot. We must, as a people, encourage the Nigerian Army, especially this leadership of Lieutenant General Tuki Supuratai. A lot of transformation, a lot of infrastructural change, a lot of training have been going on in the Nigerian Army. And I must tell you, the Nigerian Army have been having a lot of good times in his administration. Now we must say kudos to this great man. Some people call him a legend.
For me, I think he is a legend, Ernest. And then the passion he has for the Nigerian Army is overwhelming, Ernest. It's so overwhelming. And like, you know, I don't know, his retirement, he was talking about it doing other things and all that, but I believe the Nigerian Army, Nigerians generally will miss him. They will miss him for sure.
All that have a starting must have an end. Now at this point we must say we must leave for other programs to continue. Now, like we always tell you, your security is very paramount to us. Always ensure you do those things you should do and don't do those things you shouldn't do. I remain yours and only, Ernest Enuneku.
And I, Shirley Daniels. Bye for now.